Favorite TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good morning, good day, depending on where you are tuned in from. This is the Thursday Morning Digest, and as always, we come to you live from the Elevate TV studios, right at the heart of the city of Nairobi. I welcome you to today's show, and I'm your host, Laureen Magotsi, and we'll be taking you through today's discussion. And we have an amazing topic, so please gather all the ladies and the men that love them so that we can participate in this discussion about healthy aging. Aging is an inevitability. It is something that happens to us. It will happen to us. It has happened to others who have gone ahead of us. So we want to find out, why is it important for us to consider how we are aging? Why is it important for us to have that discussion now, perhaps before we actually age? We are aging, of course, but before we get to certain ages, that then becomes difficult to reverse certain things that may have already happened to us. So I want to urge you, please, share our links. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. Share our links so that as many people can participate in this discussion. As always, please pose your questions on our social media platforms, and we will ask our guest for today who will be able to respond to them. So I have the pleasure again to host Dr. Lydia Atambo, who will take us through today's discussion. So karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Laureen.
Yes.
I'm very happy to be back here again. Yeah.
Karibu sana. So maybe for the sake of our viewers who may not know you, please just go ahead and introduce yourself again.
Okay, so my name is Dr. Lydia Atambo, medical doctor, infectious disease specialist, but I'm also a healthy aging expert and a geriatrician. So I'm on a mission to talk about healthy aging and let us know that it should not take us by surprise at a time when there's nothing we can do about it. So we should make it a discussion when we really have the time and the opportunity to make a difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super. So, karibu sana to our show.
Asante.
We are talking about healthy aging.
Yes.
So maybe we can start with discussing, when should someone get concerned about aging?
Okay. So we age all the time.
Okay.
I've known you for years. You're not the way you used to be.
Yeah.
You know, time has elapsed and aging is inevitable, as you said. But we need to be cognizant of the fact that there are things we need to do in preparation of that, so that we make the process smooth and we ensure that you're aging with grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay. So I think to our viewers, what we are saying is, you just need, as long as you are aware, self-aware, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then you need to know that you need to start taking care of yourself.
Yes.
Because a time will come
Yes.
when you will not be as strong, as agile
Yeah.
as you were in the past.
Yes.
Okay. So then what is healthy aging?
So healthy aging is the process of maintaining. And I like that definition because it means maintaining means that you have it, and so you're in the process of keeping it.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm saying that it's a process that you need to be proactive about. And then we look at the human being not just through the health dimension, but through different lens. So we think about the human being through the different dimensions, and we are saying healthy aging is the maintaining of physical.
Okay.
So here we are saying we need you to be strong, healthy, and agile. Then we also want you to maintain your mental. So even as you're aging, that you're able to make sure that you remember what you said when you said where your money is, you know, things like that. So mental is very important.
Okay.
And then the last one, of course, is social.
Okay.
And we hardly think about it. And one of the things we are noticing is a lot of our older population, they suffer from loneliness.
Okay.
why loneliness? Because perhaps we didn't nurture the relationships of those who are near and dear to us.
Okay.
So you age and your children are busy and they hardly remember you.
Wow.
Or your spouse, you have, I don't know, you have separated or whatever. And so you age and you realize, wow, I'm alone. And people are still going on with their lives, and there is no support system around you. So even as we are aging, perhaps it's a good thing to tell each other, you know, Laureen, we are aging. Where will our retirement homes be? Can we build near each other so that then we are near each other and we keep each other company? So physical, mental, social health, but again, looking at the general well-being of a human being through the other facets.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll delve a little deeper into those. But there's something I think you talk about, the 7 facets, I think, of healthy living.
Yeah.
So maybe for our viewers, you can talk about them so that they get to understand.
Yes. So I am Lydia, but we can break down my different facets of life into probably 6 or 7 dimensions, major dimensions. One is physical. Am I physically healthy? Am I eating well? Am I sleeping well? Am I exercising? Things like that.
Okay.
Second one will be mental. So how well am I taking care of my brain? Am I aware of how well my brain is functioning? Can I remember things? Am I still learning things?
Okay.
Am I rewiring my brain?
Okay.
You know, so mental is very important. Am I getting depressed? Then you need to think about the spiritual. So when you talk about the spiritual, we hardly think about it, but as you age, I watch a lot of videos where old people are asked, what do you regret? They hardly regret all these physical things that we buy. They regret that they didn't find their purpose. They regret that they didn't nurture the relationships that they hold near and dear. So we are saying spiritual is very important. Why were you created on this earth? And have you fulfilled that function? Then we need to think through someone's financial. So that you don't age and you don't have the financial resources to care for you. Data shows that now we are strong and agile, and we earn 100% of our salaries. But when you're in retirement, you need about 80% of that amount per month to survive, plus inflation. So are we aware of that? Have we planned for that? Is our retirement package structured in a way that we have that type of resources, so that you're not aging in a manner that is not dignified? You can't pay for your medical bills. You don't have good food, things like that. Then you need to think through spiritual, so you break down someone into the different facets.
All right. So maybe we can look at now physical. What would make me physically healthy even before I start aging? Just what should I do to just live a healthy life, and what are the indicators?
Excellent. So we start worrying about aging at the age of about 30 to 40. That's when the body starts, growing old. You feel a pain here, a pain there, but you're still young. But the manifestations of aging really come out at about age 50, 60.
They say 50 is the new 40. So you're still young.
But there's something called the life course approach to healthy living, where we are saying the things that happen to you in your mother's stomach affect how your childhood was, or your health during childhood, and the things you did again during teenagehood and your youth again will affect how you're aging. For example, someone who indulge in alcohol and substance abuse will age differently from someone who generally ate healthier. So again, the sum decision of the health decisions that you made throughout your life ultimately impact how and when you age. So what we're saying is that your nutrition is important, how you exercise, your sleep enough, reduce your stress levels. So just make sure if you need your supplements. I'm also learning that supplements are very important. And when I talk about supplements, I know it's a controversial subject, but for women, we lose periods every month. So, and then we are always breastfeeding, and then we are giving birth. So during that period, you should supplement your iron. Yeah. As we are growing older as women, our calcium levels go lower.
Yeah.
So supplement your calcium. As people growing and you need a strong immunity, go to the sun. Bask every morning, 15 minutes, and in the evening, so that your vitamin D levels are sufficient to make sure that your immune system is working. In the absence of which, then you will be given vitamin D supplements.
Yeah.
So what we are saying is that there are some supplements that we need to look into. If you're vegan and you're not eating meat, eggs, and all these dairy products, then you need vitamin B12 supplementation.
Okay.
So what we are saying, go to your doctor and let's find out what your deficit is, so that we correct it in good time before the repercussions come, the health repercussions come to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, I want to just go back to what you said in terms of what happens to you in your mother's womb affects everything. So what would be maybe the advice then that we give to mothers? Because I'm sure we have quite a number of people watching this morning.
Yeah.
So what can women do at that time so that they ensure they give a good foundation?
Excellent.
Yeah.
So, very interesting question. But in fact, literature says that before you get pregnant, go to the hospital. Be intentional about getting pregnant, so that then they start you on supplements before.
Okay.
So they start you on iron and folate, depending on whether you have a deficit or not.
Okay.
But then you get pregnant, make sure you're taking your supplements as needed, your iron and folate. Make sure you're going for your doctor's visits. Make sure you're resting enough. Make sure you're not stressed. And if you have a partner, which I presume you have a partner, the partner should be supportive. And all these things, the sum total of all these things then ensures that the baby is calm and is growing well. Yeah. And then for those ladies who drink or smoke during that period, of course it's not good to drink and smoke, because especially during the pregnancy period, but especially when you're pregnant, then don't. Because alcohol, for example, is absorbed by the child and can cause negative repercussions.
Okay. Wow. All right. So viewers, I hope you're following this discussion. We are talking about healthy aging. We are focusing on women, of course, as always, but the men that are watching, don't worry. Please, if you have any question, just post it on the chat or on our social media platforms, and we'll be able to respond. So we've seen that in terms of physical, people need to watch their diet. They need to make sure that if they have chosen a certain lifestyle, then they are not, starved of other nutrients that they need. Okay. So what are the indicators that somebody is healthy?
Very interesting question again. So the world is facing two problems.
Okay.
Undernutrition and overnutrition.
Okay.
So in some parts of the world, people don't have food.
Okay.
They're starving. So we're having people who are stunted and wasted and malnourished. But then there's another part of the world where we have overnutrition. So we have people who are overweight and obese and very obese.
Okay.
But even in this obesity problem that we're having, people are feeding on foods that are nutrient deficient.
Okay.
So they're not eating. So they're big, yes, but in whatever they're eating, the food is not balanced or does not have the variety of nutrients that we need. So even in that overnutrition, there's deficiency.
Oh.
So so we have undernutrition and overnutrition. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now again, when we talk about healthy aging and we are looking at our physical bodies, I know you've talked about supplements, but what else can people do to then ensure that they are healthy?
Yeah, very interesting question. And I always go back to my acronym, New Start, where we're saying make sure you're eating the right kinds of foods.
Okay.
If your plate is as colorful as can be, excellent. It means all those colors are coming in with different nutrients, which is good for you.
Okay.
I don't want to get into the when you're eating, how you're eating, but every so often take a break from eating, because the fasting then rejuvenates the body and helps the body to restart itself and repair itself. So do this under the guidance of a doctor, depending on your medical conditions. But for the rest of us who are healthy, every so often take a break from food and just drink your water. Because then it's nature's way of cleaning out the body. So then we want to exercise 30 to 45 minutes of moderate exercise per day. Go for a walk, brisk walk, swim, you know, aerobics, whatever it is you need to do. Take your water, 6 to 8 cups a day. Some of us don't like the taste of water. I hear you. So please put some slices of fruit into your water just to flavor it. Take your fresh juice. Take
stick out.
Tea without sugar.
Okay.
Yeah, tea without sugar. Because sugar dehydrates. Sugar, alcohol, coffee, they dehydrate. If you have vegetable juice, you can take that. If you have your yogurt, take natural yogurt. Put in some, I don't know, honey and some fruit slices just to flavor it. After water, go breathe it properly. Sit up straight. Let air get into your body. So that you have adequate levels of oxygen. You realize oxygen is very important, because even athletes, they go into oxygen chambers just to repair their body and to... So for us who don't have that privilege, just sit up straight and breathe in proactively, or just go for a walk. As you're exercising and you're panting up and down, you're increasing the uptake of oxygen into your body. Yeah. Rest. Rest. After all this running up and down and all these stressful things that we are doing, it's so important to rest. When you're resting is when your body is repairing. So rest is very, 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 very important as we are aging. You realize even when you haven't slept, you have bags under your eyes, and so that's your body complaining. So rest.
Wow. Okay. Viewers, I hope you're following and taking notes on this very important discussion today about aging. Healthy aging. Okay, so we've tackled the issue of physical health. So let's now talk a bit about mental health. What should people do to just ensure that you're taking care of your mental health?
Wow. Okay. Our mental health is very important, especially as we age, because we realize that things like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's are also on the rise, maybe because of diet. But what you're saying is that guard your mental health. So the first thing, if you know that you have mental health issues that run in the family, have it checked out, take your medication, go to your doctor frequently, and adhere to the treatment that they're giving you. But if you are okay, then be cognizant of the fact that you need to rest, you need to de-stress. If you have high stress levels, please find ways to reduce the stress levels. For the rest of us, there is a very important supplement that we need to consider, omega-3, 6, so that the fish oils and the nuts and the seeds, those healthy oils are the ones that repair the brain and replenish the brain cells. So if you're not able to supplement, then just make sure that you're eating your fish regularly, and your nuts and seeds, and your avocado oil and your olive oil, all these healthy oils. Yes. So then find a support system. It's so important, Laureen, that we have places that we can run to and find solace. Whether it's in the church, whether it's in the home, so that we are able to talk about issues that affect us, and we don't let the problems, go into challenges like anxiety, because then such things can spiral out of control.
Now, in this very fast-paced life of ours, and I think we are getting there, especially in the urban centers, what are some of the things people can just do? Because I think building a support system is important, but I think looking just at I probably get to work because of traffic. I need to leave my house very early in the morning. Then when I leave work in the evening, again, I'm in traffic. So by the time I even get home, let alone trying to even divert to meet someone, time is gone. I just need to go make sure people at home are settled. How do we balance that?
I've had very high-level CEOs say that they realized that they were burning out, and now they are very intentional with how they keep their time, and the appointments that they keep, so that they just make a rule: you don't call me after 5, or I don't work during the weekends. So for the rest of us, we might not have that luxury, but we are saying find pockets of time that you can guard, that you can do things that are just for you. So if during that time you want to pray, then pray. If you want to sleep, then rest. If you want to get into a hobby or start a business, just something that feeds into you, and you're able to distress and reduce all these, stressors, then find that time and guard it faithfully.
Wow. So viewers, I hope you're following. Any questions you have, please post them. We'll be able to look at them. But I'm just wondering, how does poor mental health manifest? Because again, I know you've talked a bit about anxiety and all that, but for us who may be living with people that we feel we need to support, how do you identify that this person is not mentally well?
You start asking yourself questions like, is there mental illness running in the family? That can help you pick it out very quickly. Number 2, is there a stressor or a trigger? So if someone has gone through a life-changing traumatic experience, can be a breakup, can be an accident, can be loss of a loved one, can be loss of a job, whatever it is, whatever the trigger is, then pick that life-changing situation. So if you have a friend who's lost a loved one, follow up. Be cognizant of that trigger and be proactive in your follow-up. So those are the 2 things I would talk about: mental health illness in the family, or a trigger. But beyond that, then you find that someone starts withdrawing from people, becomes irritable, is always fatigued, angry, anxious, then cannot sleep, does not want to eat, does not want to interact with people, and then you see obvious behavior changes. Someone was outgoing and extroverted, suddenly does not like crowds, does not like doing what they used to enjoy doing. I know you like cooking, suddenly you don't want to enter the kitchen. Or you enjoyed painting, suddenly you don't like it. I know human beings are dynamic, we keep changing, but that rapid shift of someone's interests should trigger you to let you know that something has changed. So if I'm your close friend, I should be able to realize that Laureen used to call me 10 times in a month. Now she calls me once. But I'm also aware that she went through XYZ. Can I follow up and find out what's going on? And even when we run into each other, you look downcast, you're not as excited about your career, or you're not, then I should be able to pick something and follow up. So just change of behavior and a trigger that should let you know that this was a life-changing, event.
I think you bring us very, very nicely to social and how social health is important. And I think what you've said just now, that we really need to follow up on and be intentional actually about our relationships. Because from what you're telling us, and I hope viewers, you can bear me witness in terms of just the discussion, that if you don't have healthy relationships, and healthy here doesn't mean many people, but quality. Because many of us have many friends. Like I think somebody was saying some time back, you may actually have, your phone book is full. Nowadays with backup, on cloud, you can store as many contacts. In times past, I think you could only store maybe 1,000. But your phone has more than 1,000 contacts. But how many of those people can you actually call when you're in trouble and say, I'm in trouble, can you come through for me? Yeah, I think those are very pertinent issues that we need to discuss.
Yeah.
And viewers, maybe you can tell us, what have you done to ensure that you have built quality relationships? And if you have any challenges, again, let us know and we'll see how we can go about them. But now, from now, an aging perspective, what does a healthy social life look like?
I liked what you said. How many people in your phone book can you call? And you're sure they'll show up without asking you too many questions. Ati, why should I help you? Ati, why didn't you save for yourself? Ati, what, you know, they show up because you're asking for help. But beyond that, you know, when you age, at the end of the day, you don't ask yourself, how many promotions did I get? You literally ask yourself, where are my children? Where is my spouse? Why don't they call me as often as they should?
Yeah.
Or why aren't they bringing my grandchildren as often as I want them to?
Yeah.
You know, so those are we start introspecting and thinking about such relationships. And so what we are saying is that when you have the chance and opportunity, you know, life has very interesting phases. Right now, our children are in our house.
Yeah.
And they live under our roof because we are the ones providing for them. But are we intentional in investing in that relationship, or do we treat them like tenants? Okay. Steve Covey actually says that a lot of us parents, we zoom through life, so we don't even form normal traditions that we can hold on to. For example, eating dinner together. Yeah. How often do we eat dinner together? Then suddenly these children leave our house. So we never ate dinner together when everyone would eat at their own time.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they leave the home at 18 or 19 and go to college. And you realize you miss them. And suddenly you're calling them back. You need to come back home for dinner every Friday evening.
Yeah.
But you see, it was never a tradition.
Yeah.
So Steve Covey actually says that the traditions should be simple traditions and should start from as early as possible. So if you want your family to be going out to church together, start doing it when they're in your house. If you want them to, I don't know, if you want to have family holiday,
yes,
then be intentional in ensuring that you have family holidays at least once a year. It doesn't mean you're going to Zanzibar. Go to Geshagi together. If you want guys to catch up, then be intentional in having Friday evening dinner every Friday, for example, so that when they leave your home, they still know that I'm in campus, but every Friday I go home for dinner. So be intentional in creating these traditions that then spill over beyond the time when they're not in your house. These loved ones are not in your house. It would be very nice if you started the Friday dinner, I don't know, the Friday dinner tradition, and then when they're in campus, they still come back for Friday dinner. And you can imagine when the grandchildren have come, and they still hold on to that. So every Friday dinner, now they're coming with the grandchildren. So start the traditions early. Okay. Be intentional about them, so that then you're not calling people after they've left your house. Where you need to, and you never instilled a sense of relationship, or you are never intentional about it. So what we are saying is that start now. The people who are your family members and you would want to nurture a relationship, start now, so that by the time you're aged, then you have been nurturing that relationship.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, viewers, we are talking about healthy aging, and we have talked about physical health, we've talked about mental health, and we've also talked about why it is important for you to ensure you're socially healthy. You have built and invested in relationships that you can bank on in your old age. Yeah. So we'll take a short break right about now. Please don't touch that dial. We will be right back.
Explore a world of knowledge at Elevation Bookshop. Dive into topics like marriage, money, and spiritual growth with our vast reading materials. But that's not all. We are thrilled to introduce new additions like stationeries, notebooks, modeling clay, dictionaries, pencils, kamusi, and more. And calling all students, gear up for success with our back-to-school items, providing you with everything you need to excel in every subject. At Elevation Bookshop, we're here to assist you in finding the perfect resources for your journey. Do you have specific preferences or looking for something special? Visit us at Kenya Cinema Plaza, mezzanine floor, or contact us on 0748 902 225. Elevation Bookshop. Enrich your life.
Well, viewers, we are back and we are talking about healthy aging. This is the Thursday Morning Digest, and I still have my guest in studio, Dr. Lydia Atambo, who is talking to us about healthy aging. So we've talked about physical health, we've talked about mental health, we've talked about social health. Now we want to look at another facet, which is vocational. And how does that affect our health status?
Very interesting. You find purpose in life when you're useful.
Okay.
It's very simple. It's nice when you're needed.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's nice when you're needed and you can still make a living out of that being needed.
Okay.
And so most of us retire at 60, but some of us live to 80, 90. That's 20 years of life. Yeah. Beyond formal employment. So what we're asking is, have you thought through what you'll do with your 20, 30 years? Can you get into spaces where you can only keep becoming a thought leader in that area? So that, for example, you're an accountant, you retire, then, I don't know, start an accountancy firm, mentor the young accountants into that space. Yeah. Like, find a niche that you can still be useful in, but maybe at a consultancy level. Yeah. But as you're doing that, I think branding is very important. Work with a branding person who will help you find your niche and advise you on how to articulate your niche, and how to remain relevant. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It is often said that people who work, particularly in urban centers, the minute they retire, they start aging rapidly.
That's true.
Yeah. So what usually is going on?
You see, your brain, what you don't use, you lose. It's so simple. If you don't go to the gym and if you don't use your muscles, after a while they waste away. So even your brain, if you retire and you literally retire and you're not engaging your brain starts atrophying at a faster level. Okay, but in order atrophy means it becomes smaller and the connections become less. As we age, our brain becomes smaller. Okay. It's a process that starts at the age of about 30, 40. But then the manifestations and the impacts of that atrophy are manifested at about age 60, 70. Okay. That's when you start looking for your watch, yet your watch is in your hand or your pocket, and you've looked for it the whole house. You know, you start being forgetful. Yeah. You get upstairs and you're like, what did I come to do? You know? Yeah, so the manifestations of the atrophy start being felt at age 60, 70. Okay. But what you're saying is that we can ensure that our brain remains engaged.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. If you're an accountant, still remain in that space. Volunteer somewhere.
Yes.
Offer to mentor the younger ones, or become a consultant, so that you're still in that space and you're still engaging your brain. There's something called neuroplasticity, brain neuroplasticity, where you're still able to form new connections.
Okay.
And so the more you engage yourself in new activities, the more your brain forms new connections.
Okay.
For example, and they give very nice, simple examples. If you write your name with your right hand, then use your left hand. So you're performing the same function, but you're using a different pathway. And that, just activates your brain. If you're used to cook with your right hand, then use your left hand. And this is possible. People who lose their right hand, after a while, they start using the left hand. So that ability to use both hands is a possibility, right? If you're used to, going home through this route, use a different route. Yeah. Even that in itself. So you're performing the same functions, but being creative in how you're performing them. But data shows that if you play the game of chess often, chess has a way of keeping your brain young. It's been identified as one of those things that helps because of the concentration and the need to make strategic moves and how long the game can take. All those complexities make it a very good game. But beyond that, you and me are scientists, but can we become artistic?
Okay.
Learn how to play an instrument, learn how to paint, learn how to garden. That means you're using different parts of the brain, and in that the brain keeps engaging itself and stays young, and activated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know. I always find chess. It's an amazing game. I'm learning it.
Yeah.
But I find it a lot of work.
It is. It is, and very long.
Yeah. I've always wondered how people feel that chess can make them relax. That I haven't understood yet. But viewers, there you have it. Find something to do. Find something to engage in. Again, we are waiting for your questions. Any comments? I keep checking our social media platforms to see if there's anything coming from you so that we can engage. So now, how does that play out? So when people now retire and they go home, and the realities of their jobs not being there, because you've talked about also financial health and why it is important to invest in retirement. Yeah. So how do we tie vocation in our days of strength to now when we now retire? Because then we also need to make sure financially we are stable.
Excellent. Start planning early. Get in touch with a financial advisor. What these people do is that they go through your life and your spending habits. Yeah. And they tell you, so now you're paying fees and you're probably paying for a house. At that time, you might not need to pay for a house, but you might need to, nurture a business that you will be running. Yeah. So they take you through your spending habits. You'll probably need fuel, food, health cover. The health costs will go up for that time. So they help you calculate all these things. Yeah. They remove some of the costs which we assume will not be there, like fees. Then they incorporate now the costs they think that will now be higher during that time. Yeah. And then they add inflation. Okay. So that gives you a figure of how much you might need every month when you retire. Yes. So even that enables you to start planning early. Then number two, while you're still working and you're strong, learn about multiple streams of income. Yes. So while you're still in your job, start doing something on the side. Yes. Create a brand that you can then launch and do something that you enjoy. Wow. I know some of us who are bakers, who are artisans, and then you retire, and then you have been baking all your life. You've been baking for your relatives, and then you retire and you launch your baking business. Yeah. And it will do well because all these people have been seeing you baking all along. Or you've been doing hair on the side and now you launch a salon. So keep money aside for whatever it is you want to delve into after you have retired. Think through it, plan through it. Make sure the resources are there. Make sure you're getting the financial advice that you need as you're getting into there. make sure your insurance is in order.
Yeah.
We were learning about life insurance and the importance of that. That you can be able to get some sort of stipend after you have retired. So just make sure that the different facets are well thought out, so that even as your business is peaking, you're not in a space where you don't have any source of income.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first thing is get in touch with your financial person, and then be aware of what you want to do, and start it while you're still energetic and young, and go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So viewers, we've covered most of the facets or dimensions of health that you need to be looking at. Now, I really want us to now go back because again, this is October, it's cancer, breast cancer awareness month. So I'll take you back again to just physical health. And I would like us to discuss what are some of the things, the tests maybe that people can take just to make sure they are okay. And there's always that interesting discussion of whether is that contrary to faith, that we believe that we are healed. By the stripes of Jesus, we were healed. You know, but basically, I mean, what can we do? What can women do? Are there tests we can go and do so that we just make sure, we are okay?
We are okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so one of the first tests I'll do is that look at yourself and ask yourself, how is your BMI? So your BMI is your ratio of your height versus your weight. So for your height, are you carrying the adequate weight?
Okay.
You can ask your healthcare provider to assess you and tell you that, so that we know if you're underweight, normal weight, or overweight, or obese.
Okay.
And then that can guide you into how you want to take care of yourself. Number 2, waist circumference.
Okay.
Very important. And waist circumference is the space between the lower part of your ribs and the upper part of your hip bone.
Okay. Okay.
So that area. So there are certain parameters for men and women. Again, get in touch with your healthcare provider. But what you're saying is that when your waist is too, we call it public opinion pot. Yeah. When you have a pot that is too big, then that means you've deposited a lot of fat, which is not good for you. It's an indicator of poor health. So if you have a pot and if you feel like your stomach gets in the way sometimes, that's an indication of poor health. Get in touch with your healthcare provider, get in touch with a nutritionist, and start taking your exercises seriously.
Okay.
So just by looking at people, those are the 2 things I would say, BMI and waist circumference, which you can do for yourself in the house. But beyond that, go to the healthcare provider.
Yeah.
And let's examine your different body parts.
Yeah.
Your eyes.
Okay.
Because we are always on our phones and computers nowadays, we will probably have more eye issues than our parents did. So if you have any eye issues, you feel you cannot see clearly, you feel you cannot read words that are very far away, please get it checked out. Why is that important? Because if you can't see, it's so easy to fall.
Yeah.
And when you fall, then you get fractures, you can hit your head, which can lead to brain injury.
Yeah.
So get your eyes checked.
Okay.
Get your ears checked.
Okay.
We also, as we age, our ears also start malfunctioning. So every year it's good to have your ears checked.
Okay.
So those are some of the general tests I would do.
Okay.
But for the basic tests that I would really need to have all of us do, that would include some blood tests.
Okay.
Check out your blood sugar.
Okay.
Some of us are pre-diabetic.
Okay.
Our sugars are high because we are eating the wrong things, but they're not high enough for us to be diabetic.
Okay.
But because we are pre-diabetic, we still have some of the manifestations of a diabetic patient.
Okay.
And it predisposes us to some conditions. So have your sugars checked.
Okay.
So that you ensure that they're within the normal level.
Okay.
Number 2, have your blood pressure checked.
Okay.
Because of the stress levels, because we are not sleeping well or resting well, because we are not eating healthy, and we have too much cholesterol, because of so many other reasons, our pressures can go high. And the problem with high blood pressure is that you don't feel anything. So your pressure is high, but there's no physical manifestation.
Okay.
Very rarely some people have headaches, but generally people are walking around with high pressures. And the high pressure is not good because anytime you have high pressure, it affects your eyesight, your eyes, your kidney, you can get a stroke, you know, it affects those major, even your heart function. So get your blood pressure checked.
Okay.
The sooner that is corrected, then we save the organ damage that would have come after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's some other blood tests. Get your liver checked.
Okay.
The liver is really one of the key organs in the body. When we optimize the function of the liver, then we know our bodies will be healthy.
Okay.
Liver is very important for immune function,
Okay.
red blood cell production. It helps us metabolize glucose,
Okay.
fat. So all these functions may be affected when your liver is not functioning well.
Okay.
But the main function of the liver, which we all talk about, is detoxification.
Yeah.
So if you want to detoxify and to clean out the body, then your liver function should be optimized.
Okay.
For those of us who are taking alcohol, alcohol is majorly purely excreted through the liver. So as it's being excreted, it damages the liver.
Okay.
So again, all those functions are affected. Fat metabolism, glucose metabolism, immune function, detoxification of other components. So liver health is very important.
Okay.
Then of course check out your kidneys. Kidney function. We said when your pressure is high, it can affect your kidney function. Kidneys can also be affected by infections and other things. Have them checked out.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who have recurrent UTIs and things like that. Then now we get into the more complex tests that we need to do once a year. Breast exams and breast checks just to make sure we don't have breast cancer. Go for your ultrasound.
Yeah.
If you're above 40, go for your mammogram.
Okay.
If you are a lady, we start talking about cervical cancer screening.
Yes.
A lot of us don't like it because the speculum is cold and it's an uncomfortable process.
Yeah.
But most of the health facilities now have a better speculum, which means the process is much smoother. Please, let's go for our cervical tests. For our men, let's do our prostate checkups. A lot of the men don't talk about their health problems.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And so a lot of them have problems with their urination. They start having difficulties urinating, or when they want to start urinating, it takes a while before it starts. Or when it actually starts, instead of coming like a flow, it's dribbling. It's coming out in spots. So they start seeing all these things, but they hardly talk.
Yeah.
So by the time they're letting you know that they have a prostate problem, then anything that would have been rectified, we have missed the opportunity. Okay. So for our men, it's also a good opportunity to have our prostate checked out. Those are the major cancers that we suffer from. For the women, breast cancer, cervical. For the men, prostate. But of course, we have other cancers as well. If you're smoking, then lung cancer. And this smoking also increases the risk of getting stomach cancer and things like that. So for whatever lifestyle choices you have made, which can increase your risk of some cancers, go to a health facility and have them checked out.
Okay. Wow. Very, very informative. Now, I think there's something you have you haven't mentioned it, but you've talked about lipid. I think you need to do some lipid tests. What are those?
So we need fat.
Okay.
Our bodies need fat. And if you remember, there's some, for example, vitamins that need fat to be absorbed. We used to call them ADEK. AD, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. Okay. They cannot be absorbed into the body without fat, without the presence of fat. Remember, vitamin E is important for skin and hair. Yeah. So what you're saying is if you need good skin and hair. But beyond that, and remember, when you're eating, there are those parameters we have said that your plate should be half vegetables, then the quarter of it should be protein and the other quarter carbohydrates. Yes. But in between all that, there should be fat.
Okay.
And for those of us who take too much fat, for example, blue band, nyama choma, we're always frying our foods. You know, you can bake potatoes instead of making chips. So the person who will bake potatoes will eat the same potatoes, but it will have a lower fat content or a lower oil content.
Okay.
So all this frying and all these nyama chomas and blue band and butter will increase the lipid level or fat level in the body. Fat is important in the body. It's an important energy source.
Yeah.
So the people who are chubbier, fat is an insulator so that you don't feel cold. But in periods where you don't have access to food for whatever reason, for example, you skip lunch or you skip a meal or you're fasting, then the body is not getting energy from the food you're eating because you're not eating, but it gets from the fat that was deposited earlier.
Okay.
So fat is important.
Okay.
So the only discussion now we are having is, are you eating good fat or bad fat?
Okay.
So in the bad fat, the bad fat is the one I was explaining. Blue band, nyama choma, and frying all our foods.
You should say margarine so that brand doesn't feel offended.
My apologies. Margarine, you know, sorry, margarine.
Yeah.
So margarine. So then that increases the bad fat. What we are saying is overindulging in those things.
Yeah.
Then that increases your bad fat in the body, and that increases illnesses. Why does it increase illnesses? Because the fat is deposited around some organs, which is a good thing. So that, for example, if you get an accident, then your organs were sort of protected by that layer of fat. But now when you have over deposition of that fat, then even the function of that, as in the heart wants to beat, but it's so constricted,
because
the lung wants to expand and breathe, but it's not functioning. So over deposition of that fat then becomes a problem. However, the next level of fat that we love is the good fat. The olive oil, the coconut oil, the groundnut oil, you know, all these natural type of oils.
Yes.
Your seeds, your nuts.
Yes.
Because they have some level of oils. Your macadamia nuts, your groundnuts, your flax seeds, your sunflower seeds. Those are healthy sources of fat.
Okay.
So when you eat a lot of them, your body loves you for that. You can never have too much of healthy fats because it's protective. So that's where I'm going with this discussion. So you need fats in the body, we have said. But what you're saying is that you need more of the healthy fats than of the bad fats.
You know, a question that just came to my mind. What if we still make fries, but we use olive oil?
Excellent.
Okay. All right. Fine. Okay.
Frying. For frying, olive oil does not have a very high temperature.
So it won't...
it will burn the oil, which will then reduce all the protective elements of olive oil. But if you bake and you sprinkle that would work.
Okay. All right. So sorry, guys who love fries. Yeah. So, okay. So you're talking about lipids. So we need to make sure that we are taking the good fat.
Yes.
So there's a way to test the level of fat.
Yes.
Is that in the blood? How do you do that?
So we take a blood test, and the blood test will actually break it down for you so nicely. It will give you levels, the triglyceride levels. These are we call them the baby fats. So this is the level of fat in your plate. So it will tell you whether you're actually ingesting too much fat. Generally, are you eating too much fried food? Or are you eating, you know, is your consumption bad? So the triglycerides will be able to tell you that. Then it will also, this lipid test will also tell you your HDL levels and your LDL levels. That means your high density lipid, lipoprotein, and your low density. What we said is that we like good fat. So we want your HDL to be high. Yes. So it will also tell you your LDL is high or low. So when you do your lipid test, I'll tell you in your plate, you're taking too much fat, reduce it. Then I'll tell you, when I compare your HDL and your LDL is high, reduce it. So go home and cut down on your margarine, on your nyama chomas, on your fried food. And I'll tell you your HDL, you know, you can never have too much HDL. So I'll tell you HDL, please eat enough avocados. Use your olive oil as much as possible. So from that test, I can be able to know what how much fat you're eating,
Okay.
and which one you're eating,
Okay.
and which one you need to decrease. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I think you also talked about we need to do eye checkups. We need to do maybe dental as well.
Dental is very important. As we age, especially women, we lose calcium.
Okay.
And that's why we start getting osteoporosis, where you're walking and you fall, a simple fall, not too traumatic, but you break a bone because your bones are soft, because you've lost your calcium.
Okay.
But calcium is also important for teeth. So that also means that as we age, some of us lose teeth. Remember, even when you were pregnant, some of us lost teeth because of pregnancy.
Yeah.
And they give us calcium supplements when we are pregnant. It's for that same reason. So as we age, remember to have your calcium levels checked, calcium, magnesium. Then they'll be able to advise you on when to supplement, when to stop the supplement.
Yeah.
Because again, too much calcium is detrimental. Yeah. So that supplementation and you know, just making sure you're taking your vitamin C,
Yeah.
so that your gums are healthy, will ensure that your teeth are healthy. Go for a dental checkup at least once a year.
Okay.
Every 6 months would be excellent, but in the absence of that, go for your checkup at least once a year. Brush your teeth every day. In the evening. Why do we say in the evening? Most of us brush teeth in the morning because that's when we are going out to people.
Yeah.
Then we forget to brush in the evening. In the evening, because you go to bed and you close your mouth and you're sleeping and you're not talking to anyone and you're not eating. So saliva is not moving. Saliva is stagnant in your mouth because you're sleeping. And that's when bacteria have a field day. If you haven't brushed your teeth, they enjoy all the food remnants that you know are left in there, and those reactions are the ones that give you dental cavities.
Okay.
So what we are saying, in fact, the most important time to brush your teeth is in the evening. In the morning, it would be nice also, because then you've just eaten and you're going out to people. But remember to brush your teeth faithfully twice a day.
Yeah.
Preferably, if you're doing once, preferably in the evening. Go for the dental checkup and make sure your calcium levels are
high.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
So make sure your vitamin D is on point. Yeah.
Okay.
Go to the sun.
Okay. Wow. All right. So we are running out of time. There's something I just wanted you to touch on, but maybe a minute, because I'm told we should be winding up. Detox. How important is that?
It's very important.
Yeah.
You know, our forefathers ate. It was farm to fork. They removed their carrots and potatoes, and they used the tomatoes and the green, you know, those green long onions.
Yes.
And they would fry their food and eat it. And sometimes they wouldn't even fry with oil. But for the rest of us, we tend to, I mean, it is what it is. We are going to the supermarket to get packaged things. A lot of you know, they package, now I'm brand conscious.
Yeah.
So they package food into boxes.
Yes.
But in there, they're using preservatives, they're using colors. A lot of our forefathers and grandparents didn't know. I mean, you take to them these things, they don't even know how to cook them.
Yeah.
So we are also ingesting a lot of
Toxins
preservatives and colors in all these things that we're eating. Beyond that, there are all these pesticides and insecticides that we're using in our food.
Yeah.
So there's an extra need to detoxify and just clean out the body.
Okay.
You're going to ask me, how do you detoxify? Number one, drink more water.
Okay.
Number two, the grain juices have been great. They've been found to have high levels of antioxidants.
Okay.
Antioxidants help to, you know, neutralize some of those things and clean out the body. Number three, fasting.
Okay.
Fasting is an excellent way to detoxify the body.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. All right, viewers, I hope you've had our discussion today. We've been talking about healthy aging. Somebody has posted there something I've seen, Maombi. Thank you so much for that post. We take note of it. But I think maybe just a parting shot, because now we need to end the show. What are the tips you would give to our viewers?
My tips would be intentional.
Okay.
Be proactive in making decisions now that you know will be beneficial for you later. Think through your finances. Are you making intentional choices to save or to invest for the future?
Yeah.
Be intentional about your relationships so that your social structures are well laid out.
Yeah.
I have a group of friends who have actually bought property together. And so they've said when they retire, they're all going to build in that space. Wow. You can imagine all the grandchildren will be going there. They'll probably be having fellowship together. It's an excellent thought.
Yeah.
So that's pre-planning. In your health choices, as we said, life course approach, whatever you're doing now will either benefit you or help you maintain your health status as you age.
Yeah.
Do all these checkups. Be intentional about that. Make sure your medical insurance is on point.
Yeah.
And then exercise, you know, eat well, all those things that we've talked about. In your spiritual, stay connected to God, very important. Find out why you were created on earth and ensure that you're meeting whatever goal it is that needed to be met. So through the different facets, in your mental health, be intentional about making sure that you're still using. I like how the white people age. They still go for cruises and things. They're intentional. So be intentional in maintaining your brain health.
Wow.
So think through the different facets and just make changes that are intentionally building up and preparing you for that time when it comes.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much, viewers. That's all we had time for. Thank you so much, Dr. Atambo, for coming to the show. Always a pleasure to host you, and we look forward to hosting you again. So that's all we've had time for. Thank you. God bless you. Until next Thursday, same time.
Thank you.